So, no cable therapy here. Fourth round, we are up against Randy Rundrup, some guy from Denmark. He used to play a zombie deck, but now he's playing... Like, I actually always liked the 7 black zombie deck, but now he's playing more of a real deck. I think it's something about 4-color Leovold. I don't know if you heard about it. Like, the Grixis color, splashing green, that's pretty popular. The deck formerly known as Miracles, as in the deck everyone plays. But yeah, we are putting up a nice resistance with our Elves. I kind of like this hand. It doesn't have actual acceleration, but since we have these oh, I like how you can actually change that in the replay. Since we have 2 lands and these 3, we can actually probably set up a quite profitable turn, and knowing that the guy plays more of a mid-range style, I feel pretty confident about this. Drawing more Elves isn't the worst. The cards I'd rather draw here are something like Wild Symbiote, Senate, even Natural Order, Glimpse, Cradle. You see, there's actually tons of cards you want to draw with Elves, and that's always so great. I like even drawing Krata of Behemoth wouldn't be the worst here, because we're about to generate tons of mana, and most of the time this deck doesn't have Mass Removal. Actually, since he's playing more of a control variant, he might have Mass Removal in the form of Toxic Deluge, but most of the time they don't. Bit unfortunate that he takes out both of our value guys here, so at this point we just switch straight into beatdown mode, and we even draw the Krata of Behemoth, which gives us a great out in the form of Gaia's Cradle, that we might or might not draw over the course of the game. We play out our entire hand except for the Krata of Behemoth. Oh, and we keep this in case we draw a Glimpse. Makes sense. Opponent goes for Ponder and just passes the turn, so we just get in there for 4 more points of damage, and now I actually play the Quirion Ranger, because looking at the board I think that we might have lethal next turn playing the Krata of Behemoth, so let's check that. Oh, what am I doing here? Oh! Huh! We actually have lethal this turn. We just tap those, tap this for mana, and replayed this. Yeah, to untap this, and now we tap for 3 again. That makes it 6. And then we play the Forest. Tap for 2. Go to 8. That'll Sentinel untaps, and then we can even untap 1 more creature. Yeah, and I think this will have already been enough. This like 10, 17, yeah, he's on 16. So basically what we did here, we had those 3, and that's probably also... Oh yeah, that's... Oh, see? Okay, let's actually get back to that, because I really want to show you that again. Sometimes when you're like in the zone, you realize that like immediately, but once you're reviewing the game and you don't see it right away. That's also why like I have high respect for great Magic commentators, because I've commentated matches before, and only then did I realize how hard it actually is to like catch all the small intricacies of it. So at this point, we already know that next turn we've got... Oh, I'm pointing with my finger at the cards, but you can't see that. But I got this handy little mouse thing. So next turn we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play this, go to 4. This untaps. Bounce the land. Untap this guy. Tap. 7. Play the land. 8. And then we cast a Krata. So that's the reason you don't want to play the Quirion Ranger on this turn. Because had I played the Quirion Ranger last turn, I would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and then untapping a creature doesn't get me anywhere. Like, I need 2 mana, and I have, like, 2 untapped Elves, but, which technically, like, if you have Heritage to it, each Elves counts for 1 mana, so we need 2 mana if we have 2 untapped Elves, but you can only always get that mana in how do you say that? Steps of 3. There's a better word for that I should be aware of. And so, yeah. Since casting the Quirion Ranger, or already having it in play, is mana neutral because it untaps the Nether Sentinel, it doesn't matter whether we play it or have it in play. But by waiting and casting it the next turn, it untaps this, so we have 3 untapped creatures. So this is what I was seeing here while I was playing, but not while I was like reviewing this with you together. So that's why I wanted to go back to this. So let's check this out. I'm just gonna hit the play button, and you see, like, it didn't even matter what we drew this turn. And if the opponent had something, like, was able to do something about it, I mean, you would still go for it, because there would be no point in waiting. Also, having seen him to Turok, and nothing aggressive out of him, I wouldn't even think that he had days here. So, yeah. Behemoth got us there. Now, onto the second game. In the second game, let's actually check out his. So I wasn't even sure what the opponent was really playing, but let's check how his sideboard. I took out all 3 natural orders and the Crowd of Behemoth, and brought in the 2 chokes, which are always like great against the Grixis style decks. The Scavenging Ooze, which is also like decent. Like, having seen the Home to Turret, nothing really aggressive out of him. I wouldn't put him on Grixis Delva, so I would probably expect more some kind of mid-range deck. But could even be like a pretty dedicated control deck. So I didn't really know. I brought in a Decay. I wasn't sure whether he actually had Leovold, and I kind of felt better having at least one out to Leovold in the form of Decay. And I also brought in the 3... No, I didn't bring in Thoughtseizes. I just brought in 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, which is 2 chokes, 1 Decay, and the Scavenging Ooze, yeah. So that's how I sideboarded here. This hand is pretty good. It could be a kill on the 3rd turn. It has acceleration in the form of Cradle and 2 business spells. Also a couple of 1-drops. Like, I almost wouldn't care which these are, but having a shoot certainly helps once you have Cradle. Once you have Glimpse and Cradle. But the reason I really like this hand is like this, and this, and these are just a bonus. Having drawn the Nettle Sentinel, I think like, you could make a case for playing the Nettle Sentinel or the Heritage Shoot. Since I like playing aggressively, I think I play the Nettle Sentinel. Yeah. The reason to maybe play the Heritage Shoot is if he goes for Cabal Therapy, which he might have, I'd rather have different cards in my hand. But he would never name this guy in the blind. Or at least it's super unlikely. And if he played Probe, then he could easily take out this and this. He takes out the Misty Rainforest. Yeah, bolt your land. Take that. Actually, that's a place Elves players have been before. If you go like Dryad Arbor and they bolt it, that's the worst feeling. Him playing a turn 2 Brainstorm already, like, that makes me feel better because it constricts his mana on like one of the most crucial turns in Legacy. And I guess he just plays, yeah, Deathwatch Shaman. At this point, I'm pretty sure I just play Heritage Druid, and oh no, having a second Cradle helps, but I think I only play Heritage Druid and set up to fetch for a Dryad Arbor, because that way our Glimpse gets maximum efficiency on the next turn. And he plays Thoughtseize, and probably takes out the Glimpse, right? Yeah, he must take out the Glimpse here. Do I still? Yeah, I should still fetch. Getting the Dryad Arbor, and then hoping to draw something we need. And now we got 2 draws to like find Choke or anything we need, which is great. Like, this card is great because not only does it like open up even more top decks in the form of Wirewood Symbiote or Zenith, which is like 8 cards they can draw. It can also draw like all the other cards that are good against. Like, at this point, like Hardcast Behemoth is a thing. Glimpse is a thing. Like, even, yeah, Choke is something we really want here. Or Ooze. Those are the cards you really want to draw, and like being able to draw a couple of cards here, that gets us so much closer. And on the upside, if we hit nothing that we want to hit, or even Nissa would be like crazy to hit here. Maybe we can hit Nissa, I don't even remember. See, this is what you need. Bam! Well, I would say, but who needs Glimpse when you got this? Like, at this point, we're drawing 3 cards a turn, and he's probably taking... Oh yeah, he's he's taking out the entire board. That's even better. But yeah, actually, that's quite unfortunate. But at this point, we still have a lot of top decks. We can draw any Senate, we can draw any Visionary, we can draw any Nissa. Choke would be like... You hear me keep repeating these words, but that's just how those matchups against those mid-range grindy decks works. You just like draw cards, and eventually you find something they can deal with in the form of Choke or Nissa. And here we get the beatdown. I think I can actually attack with Quirion Ranger and Heritage to it, yeah. And then only get 1 point of damage. It's a bit risky if he has removal for the Wirewood Symbiote, because then he can take out Wirewood Symbiote before it blocks and then kill one of our guys. But since I would have expected him to probably kill Wirewood Symbiote on his turn to deny us 1 more mana of Gaia's Cradle, I am rather confident that he doesn't have spot removal right now. And I'm replaying the Quirion Ranger because right now we're getting in for 3 points of damage a turn. And the opponent has, I think, missed a land drop, so that helps. 2 mana, 3 mana, is that... Oh, Kolaghan's Command, yeah. I don't mind discarding the Gaia's Cradle. So actually, he did have spot removal. But, oh yeah, but he couldn't have played it pre-combat and then blocked because he needed the mana of the Deathwatch Shaman, so that makes some sense. Brainstorm into not a fetch land, which is great. You get in for 2, and now having... well, at least that's what he thought. It's still good for us, because now Deathrite Shaman gets to maybe survive. Pretty sure he found that Lightning Ward of the Brainstorm, by the way. Yeah, he must have found that way. And this is another... Okay, so this is where the game... I think this is... I don't want to call it the crucial turn, but this is where we really need to draw something to swing the game back in our favor, because right now we're losing at least 2 points of life a turn, and Nettle Sentinel helps because it can attack, but if he keeps back the Snapcaster Mage, then we're not really doing much here. Also, he attacks. You couldn't make a case for blocking, but I think I wasn't ready to do that yet. I was, okay. You could make a case for not blocking, because if I draw Nissa, then I can actually cast Nissa, whereas now I can't, because I only got 4 mana. Watch me draw Nissa now. No. I'm doing this. I'm getting the Ooze. And I'm doing it like this, so I have the mana up already once the Ooze is in play. But unfortunately for us, the opponent has... Oh, okay. He's aware that the Ooze is coming up, so he's brainstorming before that. Would be unfortunate if you find a... Yeah, he actually does find Flusterstorm. And now we're in quite some trouble. Because at this point, I'm not even sure if Choke would get us there. I'm not blocking because the Quirion Ranger represents 2 mana. And we even find Choke. But yeah, we're quite behind, and the opponent having a Badlands makes it a bit more awkward because he still gets to use Deathrite Shaman every turn, and we are down to 10. And at this point, I think I really should block now. I try to block with the Nettle Sentinel, but he takes out the Forest that I bounced to untap the Nettle Sentinel during his attack, and takes out the Nettle Sentinel itself. So, yeah, he follows it up with an Addict, takes out the Quirion Ranger, so I think at this point there's no coming back. I draw a card, pass the turn, but at this point I already know. At least this game is over. We get 2 creatures which don't do much, and he attacks, we block, he gets a Baleful Strix in there. And yeah, like I said, there's really nothing you can draw. Even Ooze isn't really good enough anymore. Ooze could have been... Yeah, actually Ooze... I think Ooze would have been the... No, Ooze would have... Yeah, we would have been dead to Ooze, because end of turn he activates Deathrite Shaman, then he replays Deathrite, and then he uses it on his turn, or just attacks us. So yeah, there was no out there. But there's still our third game, for which we are on the play, which is always nice. Did I actually sideboard different for the third game? No. Oh, I brought in 2D. I'm playing 2 decays. Okay. Yeah, you could do that. Took out the Reclamation Sage. Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. It's not a Delver deck, but it's still kind of decent, like in those Deathrite battles, and yeah. This hand is great. This hand casts turn 2 Choke, I think. Yeah, this hand plays turn 1 Quirion Ranger, turn 2 you play like Nettle Sentinel, and then bounce the land, replay Heritage to it, and then you can even go... Then you can even go Visionary into another Heritage to it, into Choke. So basically we can play our entire hand on the second turn if the opponent allows us to do that. So this is one of those hands where you really want Choke. Like getting Choke early on, it's game over, man. It's not even funny. I'm playing the Nettle Sentinel for damage, you can do that, because that way we actually get in for 2 in the next turn, as opposed to playing the Quirion Ranger, which wouldn't allow us to do that. Also, Quirion Ranger is actually more important, so it makes sense to play the Nettle Sentinel. That's what I mean with like being in the zone when you play the game. You would think that you want to play the Quirion Ranger, so you don't get wastelanded. But the thing is, this deck usually doesn't even play Wasteland, and as we all know, like, when the opponent has a turn 1 play, you wastelanding the opponent isn't even like very good, so I'm not super scared of Wasteland here, even though leading with the Bayou is kind of a sign of weakness. Since he's super unlikely to have Wasteland in the first place, I'm feeling quite confident. And as I mentioned, playing it like this, we get in for 2 damage on the next turn, and if he actually has a spot removal spell, I'd rather have him, like much rather have him kill my Nettle Sentinel or any other creature than Quirion Ranger, because I really need Quirion Ranger on the second turn. Unfortunately, I need something to drink. Unfortunately for us, the opponent Yeah, he even realizes how important the Quirion Ranger is. Like, he doesn't even take out the choke, he actually goes for the Quirion Ranger. Which is kinda risky, because if I draw a land here, I can actually cast the choke. But, spoiler alert, I don't draw the land. So I just get him for 2. And even though I don't like giving my opponent perfect information, I'm pretty sure I played Deathwatch Shaman here. Yeah, it's just so much better. Even though there's nothing in the graveyard, there might be something in the graveyard pretty soonish. Opponent goes for this and casts him. No, casts Fatal Push, okay. It's always weird, like, going for Fatal Push first into Ponder. Technically you want to Ponder first and then Fatal Push, because you've got slightly more information that way. And I think it might not even alter your Curse of Action in 1 out of 100 games, at least in this position here. It still feels wrong. And that's something you learn playing Netrunner, because in Netrunner you only have like a limited amount of actions that you can perform per turn. So you actually, like, one of the fundamental skills of Netrunner, at least back when I played it competitively, is to think ahead and structure your turn and get maximum efficiency, not only like out of your resources, as in like your, okay, let's call it mana, it's called something else in Netrunner, but also in terms of information. Like, getting maximum efficiency out of information that you have is also a really important concept in Netrunner. And I think I actually learned something about Magic by becoming even more aware of that concept in Netrunner, and that's like I'm not like a picky little asshole or something, or like, oh, I know so much more than you, but immediately, like, when I see something like this Fatal Push into Ponder afterwards, my Netrunner senses are like, that's wrong, and it probably doesn't make a difference, but like, it's good to at least be aware of those sequences. In before somebody in the comments actually mentions why this is the better sequence, and I totally missed it. Anyway, so you've been waiting for it, and we don't draw another land. Would have been great. Like, drawing a land here, like, basically stone raining him, putting him into a black mana, which he might not even need. But at this point, once again, we can be there to do that on the next turn. He plays him. Fortunately for us, he doesn't take out the choke. He takes out one of our 1-mana creatures, but at this point we have so many outs. We can draw any 1-mana elf or a land, and we do draw the land. Get him for another Sentinel, because why not? The opponent is already down to 11 now. Just play the land. Play the Visionary, which draws a card, and then at this point I'm ready to cast Choke, but you know how you actually get to make a wish. I'm pretty sure that I am gonna draw Wild Symbiote here. Why would I not? See, like, seriously, I didn't even remember, but I felt like, yeah, this looks like one of those spots where we do draw Wild Symbiote. And I'm mentioning that because, like, drawing Wild Symbiote here is mana neutral, and you still get to cast Choke. You get to cast Wild Symbiote and Choke, and that's just great. You also get to draw an additional card and Stone Rain the opponent while you're like super far ahead, and even have like the perfect play set up for the following turn. Opponent goes for the Force of Will, pitching Baleful Strix, which is like perfectly fine for us. I don't. Yeah, he goes for Brainstorm there, which indicates weakness. It's great. That's great for us. I don't bounce Visionary here at end of turn, because I just want to hardcast Nissa on the following turn, but if I bounce Visionary, I need to draw Cradle to cast Nissa, and that's like, even though I bank on drawing Cradle all the time, the risk reward is just a bit off, so I don't do it. We draw another Wild Symbiote, which is great, and I just go straight for Nissa? I'm not even sure. I bounce the Visionary. Oh yeah, I don't go straight for Nissa. Oh, give me a second. Yeah, this is actually +1 mana. So we get 3 mana, we replay this guy, and by untapping this guy, and then tapping those again, then we're at 4, 5, 6 mana. So why wouldn't you do it? Also, on the upside, the opponent might do something. What is he even doing here? That's a weird combination of mana. Oh, Electricity! Again? That happened to us before. Well, it's only like a... That's okay. Like, it's fine. At least he's also tapped out, so now we don't have to fear something weird like Spell Pierce. Of course, we don't replay the Visionary now. We just go for Nissa. And seeing the opponent at 10 life, like, that's not even like a second thought about anything. We just animate the creature, get him for 7, and put him under tons of pressure. Like, there's almost nothing. Like, he would need I guess Snapcaster Fatal Push would be okay here, but even then he couldn't deal with Nissa. That's one of the main points of Nissa. Like Grixis, or even most of the time like those 4-color Leovold decks, they got nothing on Nissa. Like once Nissa's on the board, like what are they gonna do? Like Kolaghan's Command, Snapcaster Kolaghan's Command, that's not even good enough. Like Nissa, she's quite oppressive for that deck. Like Gurmagangler, whatever. I mean, they just get to like jump block a couple of times, and I think the worst thing that can happen to you is if they go like Baleful Strix, then you attack, they block, and then they go Kolaghan's Command, get Baleful Strix, and that way they buy a lot of time. But if you're ever in a situation to just ultimate her and not lose her immediately, then you will probably just run away with the game, especially post-board, where you got even like abrupt decays to get good value out of them. Like basically a abrupt decay turns into Lava Axe. I never thought I would say that. But it's the truth. He has to block here. So he has to take 2. Because otherwise he would just die to the Bayou. That's such a weird thing to say. I was like autopiloting that sentence. He would just die to the Bayou. Like, what? Oh yeah. What is he doing? Addict. Probably sacrificing Visionary. Yeah. And he's down to 1 life, two cards in hand, and there's nothing he can do. And we do take the game. Was that the second or the third game? Fuck, I don't remember. I think it was the second game, right? I'm pretty sure it was the second game. Let's check. Oh no, it was the third game. Now I remember. Let's see the opening hand. Okay, that was the third game. It's 20 past 10 in Germany. Oh my god. Okay, let's pretend that that's late for me, even though it isn't. Yeah, we're up at 3-1 now, so there's round 5, 6, and 7 to go in the Swiss, so see you in the next round.